Good afternoon, VV Nation. Happy Monday. Oh, man, Joe, we forgot to change the bull behind me. It's all right. We won't be in this scene very long. Carol, how are we doing today? Your first comment today. Hope you had a great weekend. It is Monday, and it is Monday. I know the alert should be hitting in just a moment. Let me check my phone. Probably be in about a minute. We'll give everyone some time to make their way into the room here. But we can see the pressure right now when it comes to the market. The Dow Jones down 248. NASDAQ down about 150 right now. S&P rather flat. The VectorVest Composite broad market. See about a half a point to the downside. We got Pennywise in the house. Hey, Carol. Hey, Pennywise. Okay, you guys are going to start us off today. Hopefully I set the alert right. Should be coming in a moment. Let's see here. I'm usually not the best at setting these alerts here. Hopefully, I don't see it yet. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, the alert hit. Let me just double check, make sure we got everyone in the room here. Let's see here. Yeah, hopefully it should have hit in just a moment here. All right, perfect. There we go. All right, yeah, I just got the alert. Oh, there it goes. All right, just making sure I'm not crazy here. There we go. Red light flashing. We can see it, right? You saw the headlines. Now, first thing I did when I got in the office, it didn't take me to figure out. We got some problems when it comes to Taiwan and China right now. And we're going to talk about that. You know, some of these views will not be necessarily within the VectorVest software, but, you know, there's a lot of geopolitical tensions right now. I just want to make sure that you are aware of what's going on. I added to my SLV position, started position in PAS a little while ago. Nice, Pennywise. I think, yeah, silver and gold. And I was well, I don't necessarily say talk about it, but I saw an interesting article. I know it was a video, but essentially it was saying that the momentum traders have came into the silver and gold space. I can agree with that, right? With all the news, Bitcoin's not doing much. Yeah, there's going to be some momentum, right? You know, we're going to lose some, just fundamental analysis. But again, gold and silver, as you can tell, my portfolio in 2026, pretty strong portfolio. That's why I've got the spot ETFs blended in with some miners here to reduce some of that volatility. Hey, like the longer hair and beard. Thank you, Marvin. You know, I figure I might as well enjoy it while I still got it. As you can tell, it's a little thinner up top. But 10 years from now, I'm going to be real sad. I didn't grow out my hair and enjoy it while I had it, right? Now, let's get into the software here. Joey's got a little leak in his ice machine. So he's going to take that. So I'm going to take over control real quick. Let him handle that situation. Let's get into it here. Normally, yeah, that's true. I did leave the color guard here on accident. Let's be honest. We got a red light here in RT. Just a heads up, I am going to get rid of this color guard in just a moment here. The BSR, it was flashing red. So it means it dropped below the 0.65. I've been talking about that health of the market for quite some time here. Now, if you're more of an aggressive, prudent swing trader, yeah, we've had some opportunities recently, right? But for my more conservative investors, a lot of risk right now, a lot of health issues in the market, right? Pennywise says RTX, DRS are down. That was quick. The rest of my defense positions are up, though. Interesting. Yeah, defense might be mixed today. But with the tensions in the Taiwan Strait, which we're about to get into, that's what's moving the market right now. Those defense stocks might just do pretty well, right? I think defense, gold, silver, probably the safer picks. Obviously not today, right? Tech stocks. I mean, we've talked about it many times on this channel. I've seen people make the comment, especially in the TSM video. Yes, if China invades Taiwan, that's going to cause some issues with tech, right? So stay defensive if that scenario does happen, right? I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not going to predict anything or say anything's going to happen. But let's get into the articles real quick before we get into the stocks. This is what's moving the market right now. Let's just start over here. China announces war games around Taiwan after hitting out at major U.S. arms deal. Essentially, we're going to protect Taiwan, right? It's where most of our advanced semiconductors come from, like 90%. When I did the research on the video this morning, tonight's video, you're going to like it. Semiconductors, especially with these stocks pulling back today, you may want to keep some of these on your radar going forward, right? Now, this is not good, right? Because think about it. The supply chain of AI, starts in Taiwan. So this could cause some major problems, right? And I'm not going to speculate on everything that's going to happen. This ain't the channel for it. I'm sure there's other channels for that, right? But these are some of the points I'm going to make right now. Nvidia just finished that 4% ownership stake in Intel, right? This is important. I see Nvidia's relationship with Intel being an important one, and AMD's partnership with Intel, right? These major chip designers can't solely rely on TSM much longer, right? Or who knows how long. It's one of the reasons why we pushed TSM to make the fab in Arizona, right? That's the reason, right? Geopolitical concerns, bringing supply chains back to the States. So I'll be honest, I haven't really been on Team Intel a whole lot, but with their partnership and just their strategic importance with their fabs here. And I've been doing some research. I think it was a Fab 52 or Fab 54. That's going to be a beast. That is shaping up to be a beast of a fab. And really, they're trying to give some, TSM some run for their money. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. But I do see Intel being an important player to that, right? Now, who are the largest owners of Intel right now? Of course, you're going to see the usual suspects, the BlackRock, the Vanguard, the State Street. But look at State Street now, 4.2 to 4.6% roughly. Nvidia just stepped in with the big dogs, right? SoftBank also going to be another one here. I think theirs was like 3% when I looked. It's a little bit lower. But they do have a significant stake. But this just shows you how important Intel is going to be going forward. And yeah, I haven't been the biggest fan of Intel, and it's still speculative, still overvalued. Most of it's hype from other companies. But the story is making sense. The story is making sense here. Now, the other interesting perspective when it comes from to Taiwan, per se, is this right here. It is difficult to determine the exact percentage of energy used by Taiwan semiconductor fabs that is derived from Russian oil and Taiwan. Yes, that is right. Taiwan, major player when it comes to buying the sanctioned energy from Russia, right? One of these items is going to be called naphtha. It's a cheap fuel. It's pretty much you're just distilling crude and coal together, right? Crude and coal together. Intel will live or die on the success of Foundry. Yes, but ultimately, a lot of people can't, Intel failing, Intel's in a position where it really can't fail, from you say a national security perspective, whatever perspective may be. But there's a lot of big players, the U.S. government, AMD, Nvidia, Taiwan, even Taiwan Semiconductor, all coming to the rescue of Intel, right? So I'm not going to sleep on Intel. But this is interesting, this Taiwan thing, right? Russian energy. Taiwan, which I didn't have a clue until recently. But look at this. Trade data suggests that levels of Russian naphtha flowing into Taiwan remain steady despite Taipei saying it would reduce volumes, right? Now, this article revealed that the Asian country has become the world's largest importer of fossil fuels derivative from Russia. Interesting. By the way, oil is up today. That's an interesting play. I'll be honest with you, geopolitical conflict, oil might be turning around, right? But this is just a very unique article, and I'm not here to get down, conspiracies or speculation, anything like that. But just know this island that we all depend on is very, obviously it's got a very geopolitical connection to China, if you know that story. But in addition, it's got an interesting role when it comes to this, sanctioned energy, right? Because it looks like from here, because I was doing some other research, about 80% of energy in Taiwan has to be imported, right? And their biggest importer right now is Russia. So I just find that being an interesting dynamic, how these players around the world are all, interacting with each other, right? So just interesting. So now we're going to get back to the software here. My midstream positions and positions in oil, CVX, EOG, and COQ are doing great today. We're going to take a look at oil. And that was going to be one of the things I do is we're going to go into Unisearch. We're going to figure out what's up today. We know there's a whole lot down today. So we're going to figure out what's working today. What's jumping? What's going to benefit if these tensions were to rise, right? Because these are live military drills. They're going in with weapons hot right now. all over the ports, all over the island. You can do your own research on that, but this is their largest drill in history when it comes to Taiwan. And you see the market not liking it. I don't really like it, to be honest with you. All right, let's get rid of this one. Let's get rid of these stories here. But now you see the point I'm trying to make. We got 2 red lights in the color guard. The color guard I'll leave up today. I'll just leave it up today. I'm going to give you fair warning. RT, red light. BSR, red light. NASDAQ down. Almost about 0.75% here. The major indices about 0.5% to the downside. The war games are really much to do about nothing. Penny wise, say tit for tat. Tit for tat. These war games, if I had to guess, not over. Only going to intensify. But the good thing about these tensions with China, because I always like to look at a glass half full category, right? A lot of pressure will happen just naturally when it comes to these semiconductors, if something were to happen, or headlines like this come out. But it also can give you some buying opportunities. I've been talking about the value indicator when it comes to the VectorVest software, utilizing that, right? And me personally, right now, there is no point. This is me personally thinking I am not going to buy any semiconductor that's overvalued unless it's near the photonics category when it comes to semiconductors. War games, head games. Yeah, Bill. Yeah, Bill. Maybe. All right, let's go over to the viewers tab here. Actually, let's go to Unisearch real quick. No, we're going to go to viewers, right? See what's working. Micron, undervalued tech company. Domestic manufacturing, up today, right? Defense, up today, undervalued. Look at these other stocks. All the gold and silver is under pressure today. New techs, undervalued health company here, also up today, but most of the pressure is to the downside. Analysts are no doubt already identifying shortcomings. That's speculation, Pennywise. We'll see. I'm trying to figure out where their shortcomings are, right? That's why they're exercises. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to try to fix those shortcomings. But nonetheless, this type of news can create some buying opportunities here. Unisearch, let's go over here. And I want to see, first of all, let's start with the industries. Let's go. No, not high-low. RT Delta, that's what I want. Delta searches. We're going to do 1-day price delta. So these are the industries jumping up right now, essentially, right? We've had the news of this situation over the weekend. What's up right now? Look at this. Petroleum. That should tell you. 4 out of the top 6 industries making some of the biggest moves by price change right now. You see the price delta right here from 0.75% all the way up to 5%. Making moves to the upside. Making quite a bit. Interesting. Petroleum might just be the space here. Actually, let's just do a top-down approach. Let's go to view stocks, industry grab. This is the one. This is one of the highest here, 1.84% on the price delta. So let's go to view stocks and industry group. Yeah, real estate's in there too, I noticed. Yeah, really, we could take a look at some of those. But the fact that 4 out of the top 6 industries that are moving to the upside today, looking at their price delta, being petroleum, I'm going to weigh in on some petroleum, we see these stocks here. Look, all holding sales. No surprise, right? A lot of oil. It's been iffy. You got to be in the right place when it comes to oil. So let's take a look at these. Let's just graph like the top 5. Drag this over here. But really keep an eye on CVX and EOG due to their Caribbean operations in relation to Venezuela. Yeah, Pennywise. I don't like to get into politics, but that's all I'm going to say about that. I'll leave your comment here for a moment. Look at this one here. Overvalued. Look at this. Prices dropping. Values rising. Trying to meet somewhere in the middle, but with the value dip here. Still below the 200. I'm not seeing much opportunity there right now. A lot of consolidation. So if we get a breakout of this consolidation, maybe put it on your radar. So you got a little breakout here, short-lived. Little test here, pretty short-lived as well. But either way, not looking like the greatest stock. Let's see here. This one looks better. kind of a lower left, upper right. Went from $4 now to $6.37. So up 50%, a little volatile. But this is a European company here, Petroleum. It's a U.S. royalty. Interesting. Look, undervalued, chasing value. I'm going to put it just like I do with the tech stocks. See, look at this. Overvalued. It's chasing it, but to the downside. So no, I don't like that. And if it breaks this line, it might not be a bad short candidate. You don't put options or something. But this one here, this is what I like. This is NRT price, and it's cheap, $6.37 right now. We value it at $8.45. Natural gas. I bring up Venezuela because it's an opportunity. It's definitely an opportunity. Definitely an opportunity. Think about it. I was talking about this to someone else here at the office, but you think about it logically here. If Taiwan is about to have a shortfall of energy, if Russia cuts that off, think about it, they're an ally to China. They're not going to have our back. But if they cut that energy off, this is the semiconductor powerhouse of not just the U.S., but the world. That's a lot of energy, right? They're going to have to make up for that energy. And if I had to guess, the United States is going to have to find a supply for that energy. We'll see where it comes from. But it is interesting. It is interesting. All right. Now, here's NRT. It's chasing value. I like this one. I didn't like the first one. This one looks much better here. This could be interesting, too. A little bit, obviously more volatility. RT's below 1. The forecasted data, this petroleum company's forecasted data is hard to find. That looks good. You kind of see it's flat, little, kind of all over the place. Growth rate just went negative. From a technical perspective, I'd want to see a little bit more confirmation. Value just kind of hovering up here around $90. Is kind of moving a little bit to the downside right now. I don't know. We'll see, because we pivoted off this 200, came right up here and came right back to it. Actually broke it. So I'm not too optimistic on that one right now. We'll see what happens. Here's BSM. No. The only thing I like about it, look, value starting to turn around. See how value and price were dropping? But look at value starting to turn around. Look at price starting to turn around. But I'd like to see a little bit more life from this 200-day moving average pivot here. That's this green line, 200-day moving average. Forecasted data, -5, 2%. That's why I say it's hard to get about petroleum. It's hard to get excited about it. Here's another petroleum company. This one's only 50 cents here. It's a really cheap one. It's trading below the 200. But look at the value. It's diverging away here. The stock just got a sell recommendation. But look, growth rate and earnings turnaround story here. Interesting. Very interesting. I don't like the price action here as of recent. I'm trying to think here. That's kind of a really important level I see. Somewhere in this zone right here. So yeah, I didn't want to see a little price action to the upside. Definitely more speculative in nature. Obviously, it's a penny stock here. Let's close out of this. Let's look at some of these other industries here. This is drilling. View stocks and industry group. And there's Bore. We got precision drilling. Oh, they're up today. I see more buy ratings here. When you go to these different industries of oil, some of them don't look good. Some of them are speculative, and some of them look halfway decent. This one probably on the halfway decent side. Let's see here. Let's just graph the top 5, which looks like they'll all be buy-rated stocks here. Growth rate and earnings is dropping. Sales growth rate lower than it was 12 months ago. But yeah, from a technical perspective, I see the momentum to the upside. I like this little pivot on the 200-day here. Value is rising. It is overvalued, but value is trying to chase it from the upside here. Bore is one I've made money from trading. Nice. This is only $4 here. This looks good, but again, I talk about this a lot. When you see value and price action drop, just be careful. You want to see that value kind of stabilize and start to rise again, right? We see that here. And we see price action following suit. So that's how I like to bottom fish personally. Unless I'm doing a very aggressive pivot swing, and then yeah, I may not be, solely, may not weigh the fundamentals of the value as heavily, but I still take value into consideration. Now, PDS, almost similar to the last stock. Value and price rising, right? Here's value and price dropping. Here's value and price rising. As long as value is rising, I like it, right? And honestly, yeah, here I would say, if you can get closer to the 20-day EMA for an entry, just historically speaking, it looks like the place to be, right? Now, here is CES Energy. Look at this. undervalued, chasing value. Works in tech, and clearly it's not a bad strategy in petroleum, right? I like it so far. Sales growth rate, earnings growth rate dropping tends to be a common theme with a lot of these petroleum stocks here. Still decent numbers. It's still in positive 2 and 13% respectively. But again, just looking at a lot of these stocks, the forecasted data is dropping. Here's Naboris. This is a petroleum drilling company. Look at that. That's a nice steady eddy of price action here. And look at value. Seeing some life in it. $53 company here. Growth rate's negative. Hey, and the forecasted data, it's hard to get excited about forecasted data. So if you find one with good forecasted data, maybe focus on that one a little bit more. Let's see here. So again, forecasted data dropping. This is Rig, Transocean Petroleum. Undervalued right now, but look at this. Again, value price dropping, value's coming back. I like that. That's not bad. And we're seeing a theme here. And a lot of these petroleum companies, that is the theme. A lot of these stocks were under pressure when it comes to price, when it comes to valuations, but now a lot of that pressure seems to be alleviated, right? So we'll see if we can get the momentum continuing. But yeah, having petroleum on your radar, not a bad idea. Let's go into some of these other ones here. Let's do these supermarkets. This is the top one. Actually, let's run the search again, refresh it, see if there's been any movement here. Supermarkets, so the top 5.8%. Let's take a look. View stocks and industry group. Interesting. Let's graph the top 5 here. Mixed bag. Valuations don't seem too stretched like some of those petroleum companies. All right, this one looks like the 200-day moving out. Oh, there it goes. Never mind. Just had to load up. Overvalued, but hey, I like the price action. And if I just use a freehand line here, looks like I can. Yeah, as long as it stays above this trend line, we can ride with it. Right? Stays above the 20, even nicer. Forecasted data, 14%, 13% here. Still overvalued. You know, if it took a breather, let value catch up. I like it a little bit better. Treat it more of a momentum play right now. Here's one. Look at this. Value rising. The stock went on a tear here from about what? $35 upwards to $45. But look at this. Taking a breather. Resting on the 200-day. See if we get a nice pivot. Even the 20-day EMA is now resting on that 200-day. That could be interesting little pivot action here in the near future. We'll see what happens. But what I do like about it, look at the value. Price action taking a breather. Value just keeps soaring. Forecasted data moving in the right direction. We got sales growth rate 9%, earnings growth rate 10%. Hey, already looking pretty good. Let's see what the next one is. Here's J. Sainberry PLC. You know, low volume here. Nothing to do. I mean, well, it hit a low around $12, a high closer to 20. Right now we're 18. Look at the value too. I like that. We have a gap down here. Is that earnings? Nope. The gap up was earnings right here. The gap down, I'm not sure what that was. It could be news related. But I like this. Undervalued, chasing value, not buying at a high, a little bit of a dip here. Dip seems to make sense. Let's see, make sure we're just not filling a gap. All right, the gap has been filled already. If I go to 3 months here, you see the gap's been filled. So the traders already filled the gap. So any kind of confirmation is going to be after this gap fill. If you add some volume here, see, volume's kind of weak on that. So let's see. Let's see. I'm not sold on it quite yet, but I would want price action to stay above this. Maybe if that volume can tick up a little bit. I know it's still early in the day here. Maybe by tomorrow. Let's just see if we get some real conviction behind this move above the gap fill. But otherwise, I mean, you're undervalued. We're valuing closer to $24. Not bad. Here's Kroger. Don't like it so far. The price action under pressure. Value is actually under pressure too. And you can see we took out. So we had this swing low here, right? We took it out now with this swing low. You see value kind of caught in the middle here. Let's get a breakout on value, right? I mean, it's Kroger. It's not, going to move too quickly probably. a supermarket stock. But that being said, we got a gap here to fill. So we could just fill the gap. Nice little move. But look at the retest from the 200. Not liking it. I'm sticking with Walmart here. I like Walmart too. But if you're thinking about this one, I'd be more focused on this value. If this value could tick back up, hey, and we get some price action to tick back up too, that could be the beginning of my favorite chart pattern. Undervalued, chasing value on the rise, right? But otherwise, let's see here. Forecasted data, not too shabby. Here's another. Oh, it's Jane Sainberry. Okay. Interesting. Little picks there. Let's go over here. Let's go to new stuff. New buy rated stocks. Actually, value and price buy. There we go. New buys. In a market under pressure right now with 2 red lights, I'm just curious where the buys are. Look at this. Defiance. What does this guy do? View full stock analysis report. Bring this over here. RGTI. Rigetti? So short and Rigetti has got a buy recommendation. So obviously quantum. And again, quantum, tech, semiconductors probably going to feel the pressure from what's going on out in the world right now. Let's take a look at Rigetti. That is Rigetti, right? RGTI. There you go. Yep, it's short Rigetti. That's what I was thinking too, penny-wise. Look at this 200-day, and look at my little support zone here. We got a whole lot of pressure. I'll be honest with you. If we get a little bit closer, and if things don't get crazy with the Taiwan Strait, this might just be a pivot. This might just be a little short-term pivot, short-term momentum here. If I just go 3 months, I mean, the 200-day is around 1965. The 20-day EMA is around $25, right? So if we get a nice run there, heck, that's almost 25% gain. Defiance is as bad as yield. Yeah, but I'm not gonna but it's interesting that the unit search pointed me in this direction here. I'd be careful shorting it right now, just because you got 200 and you got some nice level support here. Obviously, what the market does. If this thing starts to pivot around the 200 day, my target's gonna be at 25, and it's a quantum stock. I mean, it can move 25% no time, right? We've seen these quantum stocks move. But that's an interesting little play here. Let's go back to Unisearch. What's the other one here? United Overseas. Oh, this is value and price. Okay, so actually, we'll switch this. What's this one here? View full stock analysis report. Engages in the provision of banking services, operates their following segment. Okay. So Singapore, so kind of an emerging market exposure here. That's okay. Maybe this ETF can be a tactical trade. Yeah. No, I agree with that. But this is interesting with that Rigetti. Just be careful shorting it right now because we're so close. To not only, and I say this before, but if I put 2 lines looking for a support zone, and I've said it with a 20-day, a 200-day, whatever moving average, but if it's a major moving average moving in that support zone, you got price action just lining up. That's too many things lining up for a nice little pivot here. So if you are holding it short and it does start to pivot, be defensive. Look to the top of that pivot. Look at an upper wick. See where the pivot might end, and maybe reopen those shorts. I don't know, but just throwing an idea out there. Just be careful right now. Just be careful with that one. But I'm going to switch this new buy rated stocks because it looks like the value rising kind of thing just brought in the ETF. So let's just see what the new buys are in general. Let's see here. Okay, interesting. VanEck Vietnam. That's great because we were just talking about Singapore getting a buy rating there. And I mentioned this last week. With my last 2026 pick, it's a tough one, but right now up in the air is either some kind of emerging market, foreign exposure. I'm looking at photonic stocks. Just a heads up, that's tonight's 6 p.m. video, by the way. But I agree. Interesting. So PLTY hasn't had a reverse split. I'm just curious. Has PLTY had a reverse split? But let's see. Walt Disney. All right, let's graph these. These are new buys here. Let's see what's going on. Allstate Corp. You can see the 200-day. That's the place to try to scoop it up. The value 320, way undervalued. Sales growth rate's fallen. Earnings coming at 25%. RT above 1 right now. Not a bad stock. Not a whole lot of life into it. I see what the dividend is. We'll see. Let's see here. Sidus Space, aerospace and defense company. There's got to be some news here. This stock was under $1. Look at this. Undervalued. Man, the power of that value. Aerospace defense company undervalued. I didn't pick this one. I picked ISSC. You know, this was a penny stock. And for me to put a penny stock in a 2026 portfolio that all of you are going to see, it's very risky, right? So I picked the more conservative choice. But honestly, that is beautiful. And as of right now, we just need to see some life and value, right? We just need some life and value. But if you're looking for a cheaper stock, it's called Sidus Space. It's been on the move, under $1. Now it's at $2.65. So check out the news, see what happens here. Sidus has issues meeting deadlines and its space satellite. Okay, so it's space satellite. Gotcha. But it's gapping up. So there got to be something important there. Got to be something. CNQ, Canadian Natural Resources. Petroleum company, right? We're talking about petroleum. Fresh buy here. Maybe this might be a good opportunity. As far as technicals, not too bad. You see RT back above 1. Forecasted data. It's like all the petroleum companies are in the same boat here. You know, they're just kind of, for the most part, they're lower than they were, 6 to 12 months ago, right? We're seeing that with this scenario as well. Overvalued. Just keep that in mind. We broke above it. It looks like a retest on 200. Let's just say above the 20. We got a buy rating on it, showing some momentum to the upside. Now here's PPAC. Interesting. This is a bank. Look at this. Rejection on the 200. Rejection. Broke it. Looking like we're going to try to retest around there, right? Actually, we did break it and got a little retest and finally some optimism. But what I don't like, look, value is actually lower than it was. It's trending down. Price is trending down. Even though it's not as dramatic, it's still trending lower, right? So we're going to skip this one. See what other. Now, this is interesting. Navigator Holdings, transportation ship company, shipping being important these days. Value on the rise here. Value coming in at $20. Price action. A little bit of, see the pressure there at the 20-day EMA. If you want, some optimism, let's get above it. Forecasted data, growth rate and earnings starting to tick back up. Sales growth rate, 8%. Let's go to a 1-year chart. Looking at the big picture here, value has declined, starting to rebound. But look, you see value declining, price declining. But finally, seeing some, that's interesting. That's a nice little play here, shipping company. This is the Crumpus rally. Like I said last week, it ain't the rally we wanted. It's the rally we got, right? It's the rally we got. Hey, it's all right. Is the Santa rally officially over? Time to cash up for the year? We'll see. Oh, okay. Looks like we try to break it that time. That didn't work out too well. Got above the trend line again. Retested that trend line right on the 200-day. Undervalued. Forecasted data, 0.17. It's interesting. I was saying now, not a bad trade. It's Disney. Not too bad at all. Undervalued. You got to ask yourself whether or not you want Disney in your portfolio. Here's VanEck, Vietnam. Look at this. Since April, this thing has been on a tear lately. Went from $12 to $18. Was that almost 50% here? Little breather now. You can see the 200-day making its way up there. Might not be in a rush to get in that one, but we are seeing that momentum to the upside with some fresh buy ratings in place now. Assembly, just drop below the 20. Here's All American Pipeline. Look at the value. Stock was dropping, value under pressure. Now value's coming back. Price actually getting back above the 200-day. You got the 20 and the 200 there. A little pivot action potentially. We'll see what happens. HP, Helmerich, and Payne, Petroleum. Interesting. Overvalue now. I like the trend of it. Let's see how this body of this candlestick finishes today. Because you see last time, short-lived above the 20. I want to see some conviction there this time. Yeah, I did like PAA, Pennywise. I did like that one. Let's see here. Let's do interesting. Let's try this one. Bearish RT divergence 3-day. Think about it. We're getting some red lights here, right? This is an interesting search. Let's see where we get a bearish divergence here. Oh, none found. Let's do 2-day. Any bearish divergence is found here? Neptune Digital Assets. Price 68 cents, value 36 cents. Interesting. So it's overvalued. Oh, yeah, I can see RT rolling over, price going up. Be careful with this one here, Neptune Digital Assets. But again, I've said this before. Look, stock way overvalued. So many people say, oh, your value can't be right. You guys don't know what you're talking about. And look, came down here, met our value. See this happen too many times. I see it happen way too many times, right? One day does not make a trend. Yes, Bill. No, I get that. I get that. That's why I had to go to the 2-day one. I didn't select the 1 day. All right. So let's see. So as far as that Neptune, I just want to see some life and value. Definitely more attractive than it was, though, as far as price action. Bullish divergence. See if we get some bullish divergence here. Interesting. Here's the bullish ones. Let's see here. Let's graph them. Buy rated stocks, too. We might have some little fishies in here. I like to go fishing. All right, we got newspaper. Look at this. Undervalued. So we are getting value opportunity. Just under pressure here. We got a big gap to fill. Be careful with this one. Might get some better deals here, but the gap fill, it could potentially happen. But value rising, price rising, generally speaking, over the last 6 months here. I like that. RT stays above 1. Growth rate earnings, 22%. Not too shabby. This one looks like a buyout. It's flat. We're going to end that. Not go over this one. TPC. This looks good. This heavy construction. Look at that value keep coming up. Stock just channeling. If I go to 1 year, stock went on a tear from $20 to $60. It's taking a breather, right? We see it all the time. Stock goes on a run, whatever it may be. Just has to take a little breather, whether it's the technicals, let the fundamentals catch up. Hey, I like it. Healthy breather. But we break above this. It's around just over $70. I mean, look at the value. Value ain't breathing. Value's still running. Heavy construction too. So again, if you find yourself too tech heavy, might not be. UAMY, we could talk about it. But I'd wait if I were you. Well, it's catch 22 because China. But we'll take a look at the chart. But again, I've been saying it. You didn't help. If you're talking about UAMY, you didn't buy it, it was in the low 4s. At least, do a nibble like I did in my 2026 portfolio. I don't want to say it might go back down there. It might not. We'll take a look. Technically, looking at the chart, probably it seems likely. But with the news-driven rare earths, all it takes is China getting the news, and that stock can just run like crazy. Ryan hasn't said be defensive at least 10 times this stream, so I am saying it for. I guess I said it in a roundabout way. Tabular. You have to remember. I guess. Political debate, right? I that's what I did in college, and no, I did Arab politics, and I specialize in multi-stage ICBM defense systems over the Gulf Cooperation Council, mostly to protect it from Iran. So yes, I know a little bit about missiles, right? To say the least. But this is interesting. This would, I'd say, put on your radar. Not necessarily on the get defensive side. Put that one on your radar. Here's Sky Championship homes to the building. This is mobile manufacturing RV. Overvalued. You can see, look, price action, value met somewhere here in the middle. We're seeing a divergence again, right? So for my traders, yeah, you can play a little bit to the upside. There's some momentum there. We got a buy rating above, holding above the 20. See if it'll pivot off there maybe. But for my investors, I'd wait. Wait for these two to line up again. I'd want to get near fairly value, especially with value on the decline right now. Bank of Butterfield and Son. I kind of like the name. I kind of like it. NT Butterfield. I like the chart too. Look, value's rocking, price is rocking. I mean, went from $35 roughly. Now we're at 50 over the last year. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a crazy quantum multi-bag stock, but getting foreign exposure. We've seen it be a 2025 play. Not going to be surprised. Foreign entities do well in 2026. Here's Thurman Group. I'll tell you what, you know me, if this value had no life, I'd be the first one to tell you, stick to the technicals and be disciplined. But look at that value. Went from $20 to almost where price is. Where's value here? 36.66. I'd maybe wait till, yeah, oof. I wouldn't be in a rush to buy it, but that's interesting. Look at the growth rates turnaround. Sales growth rate went from negative 5 to what? Now we're at 15% here. This is a petroleum company too. So some big things are happening. Machine equipment, that's actually been a pretty hot space. I think it's this one and the exploration have been pretty good for some fishies. Here's financial. Financial's been, appearing more and more in the channel. But look at the value here. It just soared. $18. We got retest from the 20 several times. Let's see if we from the bottom end. This is actually be the first retest from the top end here. So this could be a nice pivot play. But if you take it, stay disciplined. Because look at the 200 down here. So if it breaks it, just like before, we go right to the 200. That's not out of the realm of possibilities here. But I will say, what the 200 is 11.76. We're at 12. So $12 shot. You're less than 10%. Less than 10%. So, play the stock accordingly. But I do like that value rising. It's got a nice strong buy rating right now. And it's in the financial space. We've seen that do pretty well. Look at this. Perfect example. Look at value declining, price declining, but look at value. Soared. And if I use a date line, it's got to be earnings, if I had to guess. Let's do earnings. Yeah, there. Look at that. As soon as earnings came back, something happened on that earnings call. Google HAE earnings. But look at that value ticking up. Look at price action ticking up finally, right? This downward trend pattern of both these items look like they're being broke right now. And just, put a level here. Let's just see right here. Boom, boom. Yeah, we're at that level of support right now. So if it breaks this, especially 78, 75, be careful. But in this zone, is nibble at your own will, right? But I do like that. And Google, or Google, Apple, whatever AI search device you're using, see what's going on with that earnings. So something happened with that earnings, and it looks good. Here's Qualys, Inc., software security, value rising, price rising. Well, lackluster on the price, but RT, I'm not liking it. I like the value, the technicals. See what happens at this 200-day. Last time it was short-lived, so it doesn't look like the 200 days too respectable. I don't know. It's kind of respectable on the bottom end here. See what happens. We got a gap fill too. So be careful. This one, we're actually looks like we might have just entered the gap. Let's see here. Horizontal line. Yeah, have some patience on this one. Let this one come to you, because this could be a crapshoot over the next week or two. In all honesty. Here's home. Was that the last one? Yep, Qualities, and then here's the home one. What time is it? 12:43. All right, we're going to get some of your stocks here. Don't put them in quite yet. We're going to get there in just a moment. Home Trust Bank, similar story, right? Price actions on the rise, but that value really showing some optimism. Yeah, technicals, not bad. Let's see, prior swing high here. Actually, yeah, still looks good. If it pivots off this, nice. Looks like the 20-day might catch it as well. I got an upper wick today. We got red lights in the color guard. So, if you go out there buying stocks all willy-nilly, that tends to be my word I use these days. That's on you. But you better make sure the chart makes sense, and you better make sure you got some discipline. Because if you ain't got either one of those, you're better off just, giving me a super chat or something. Because that probably don't work out too well, right? All right. Let's see here. Before we get into your picks, do a couple stocks I'm going to look at. Or actually, you know what? Full transparency, let's just go to the portfolios. I am going to start my own portfolio here. Ryan Active Live Portfolio. So this is going to be full going forward. We're going to have a live portfolio. No, I'm not even thinking about buying any stocks today. Doesn't make sense. To Glenn's 2026 picks. Hey, Glenn was doing good there. But yeah, the market's rolled over a little bit. That's the reason why I didn't just have me and Glenn jump in, right? It's kind of one of my concerns I had. So we tiptoed in some of these positions here. ROI up on most of them here. Oracle, Nvidia. Broadcom, I didn't load up on as much. You can see the return there is about the same as Oracle. Oracle, I bought a little bit more just because it's closer to our valuation. But as long as Broadcom's below that ascending channel, looks like it's trying to either get back to the channel or find rejection. We'll find out here soon. I'll make the rest of the decision based upon that. But the goal is to have all these positions filled by the end of the second week of January. And then here's my picks. We're up 3.6%. You can see here, did pretty good, about 5. But yeah, I dropped a little bit today. Biggest winner right now, UAMY up 26%. I think it was up 50% since I purchased it and showed you all that. And if you didn't take some profit at 50%, I mean, that's on you. Because I'll tell you, I told y'all exactly what, well, I don't know what's going to happen. But when it comes to UAMY, for some reason, I don't know if it's all y'all just buying off of what I'm saying, but it's been moving the way I've been saying. But look, this is ascending channel. Look, upper wick right at the channel. Ping when you're supposed to ping. Pong when you're supposed to pong, right? Now, obviously, the bottom of this channel is way undervalued. I don't know if we're going to get there. We'll find out, right? But yeah, if you can get this thing closer to the 4s, I'm not going to be a buyer of it today. I'm looking for rejection, a little bit more rejection here. We'll see. Did we ever get any picks from the Maestro Joey? Well, because Joey, are you giving us any picks this year? I don't know if he will, but we got Glenn's picks. Joe, you got some picks this year? Got some hot stocks we should know about?
Still holding on to what is it, NAK?
Not Glenn. Joey is still holding on to NAK. That's a minerals company, right? Gold company. I think they're waiting on that project to get approved in Alaska, if my memory is correctly, right? Ryan, I'm looking at IBIT and may buy 2-year call soon on this one and sell premium against it. Your thoughts? We can talk about Bitcoin. Okay, we can talk about that. But yeah, as far as this one here, ping when you're supposed to ping, right? You're at the top of the channel, right? As soon as that upper wick started forming, yeah. The valuation is still climbing though. Right now we're at 539. I mean, it's a phenomenal stock. But yeah, just right now you're buying under pressure, but you are in an ascending channel, right? So me personally, if I'm going to load up on a stock, I'd rather be getting in at least the bottom half of the channel than the top half of the channel, right? Does that make sense logically? Let me look at this other guy real quick. Iron here, actually, it might just be easier. And our meeting got canceled this afternoon, so I got Joe, we'll say extra 5 minutes. Not long though, not long. The TPU video, where's it at here? Ryan Glenn's 2026 watch list. I got Cousin Eddie. I still like that we use Cousin Eddie for his name. It's interesting. I did tell him about tonight's video too. He gave me some input on that, which I did share on the live stream. All right, we got Micron here. Google, Nvidia, Taiwan, Semi, Intel. Obviously, if you know his backstory, it's where a lot of my semiconductor information comes from. Not the stock side, but like the technical side. What's hot in the industry. He works for a top fintech company, so it makes sense. Here's Glenn's 2026 picks. Let's break these down here real quick. See if let's see what is what. Look at Micron. Micron ain't slowing down. And again, its domestic position as a chip manufacturer and these concerns with Taiwan and the Taiwan Strait, Chinese military drills. I'm not surprised that a gap down is opening up today. And it's undervalued, right? Still like Micron. We might have to load up in some more strength, but I'm not going to rush into that right now. We got Nvidia here. I'm not going to rush into that. We're still in the channel. Might save a couple bucks on that. Broadcom, again, looks like we might get that rejection there from the bottom. We'll see. It's still shaping up. Intel. Yeah, Intel's behind the curve. We all know that. But Intel, just the scale and size of their fabs, they're not just going to disappear. That's why you're seeing, the Department of Defense, the U.S. government, is one of their biggest backers now. So that should sell you something. AMD and Nvidia having partnerships with Intel as well as a backup manufacturer, right? Not a bad idea. But look at Broadcom, right? So yeah, I'm not going to load Glenn. I'm going to trade the chart, right? We'll see if it comes back down. If it gets back in there, like I said, we'll buy a momentum. Only got, about 2-3 more weeks here, 2 weeks after this one. Dollar Tree, look at that, undervalued, chasing value. Nice pivot off the 22. What do you think? You think I should give Glenn a little bit more Dollar Tree? Let me know in the comment section. I think maybe a little nibble. Not bad. Not bad as well. Another government bailout for sure. Well, I'll be honest with you. It might need to be bailed out, bud. It might need to be bailed out. There's a lot of things I don't agree with being bailed out. But Intel might just need it. I don't think they need a traditional bailout. I just think they need partnerships in the right direction. And I'm hoping that Nvidia, AMD really does more than just a small stake. Ideally, I'd like to see them, have a much larger stake. Even if they just shared them as a manufacturer. Hey, it is what it is. I would like that. AMD, Intel, Nvidia. And realistically, all this because of defense and national security issues, right? Department of Defense. That company ain't going nowhere. Dollar Tree, yes, looks beautiful. Yeah, more DLTR. That's what I'm thinking too. Let's buy them. Let's scoop them up a little bit more. I can get with that. Dollar General, should I buy on the strength? I got an upper wick today. It's still overvalued. I don't necessarily agree with Dollar General, but of these two, because I kind of see where he went here, I like the Dollar Tree better. But Dollar General, still looking good as far as price momentum here. I think the Dollar Tree for sure, not necessarily Dollar General. Here is Netflix, again, descending channel. Hopefully, I'm not going to be in a rush to get that one. I think me and him both have this in our portfolio. And I'm thinking I could get it at least at our value, if not undervalued, by the second week of January. Who thinks that would be the case? You think Netflix is going to drop below $90? That's our valuation right now. Only $4 away from that by the second week of January. I think so. Do y'all think that? That's just a personal opinion. Unless there's some news that comes out, and then Warner Brother deal, whatever it may be, that could cause a pop. But otherwise, I think we could get undervalued. Here's Axon. It's above the 20. We're pivoting it right now. I might tiptoe into it. Again, I only have a few weeks here. Maybe 1,000 towards it. That's not bad. So Axon, Dollar Tree, not Netflix. Alfredo says yes. Yeah, more Dollar Tree. I like that. Oracle, I see rejection here on this 20. Again, I scooped them here on the low, near the low. Yeah, I'm going to wait off on that one too. I think we get Oracle. So let's do Glenn a favor here. Let's just do was a Dollar Tree. Again, I only have 2 weeks, so the color guard. I would be more patient if I wasn't on a time frame to load up on these stocks. Does that make sense? Please let me know that makes sense, right? I'm not just buying these stocks because I am kind of buying them because I have to. It's only got till 2 weeks, right? We need more Dollar Tree and more cowbell. I like it. So Dollar Tree was Axon, right? Oracle has debt problem. Yeah, I know Pennywise, but I'm trying to get them on a good price. It does have some debt issues, though. I do realize that. All right, so add to portfolio. Glenn's 2026 pick. So, yes, it's easier to add stocks from a watch list than putting them in individually. So, if I do action, buy, we'll just put 1,000 in. Just increase it a little bit more. Wait, no, it'd be 2,000. It'd be 1,000 each. So, there we go, 2,000. So, that we are adding roughly 10,000, about 10% of these positions here. We're going to add a little bit to them. And that's just Dollar Tree and Axon. This one's still undervalued. Axon's overvalued, but it's close to the 20. Might get a potential pivot. Like I said, just taking a little nibble there. I'll hit next. I open portfolio now. We'll go back to mine. Go to Ryan. Oh, and go ahead and hit that like button because we are going off the likes today. Ryan 2026. Let's just graph these here real quick. Micron. I don't know. Maybe what do y'all think? Should me and Glenn each just snag a little bit more Micron today? It's not showing weakness. I don't know if we're going to be able to get Micron in weakness. We'll see. That's why I saved a little bit of money. If you notice, we're still sitting a bunch of cash. Let's see here. Still looks good. ISSC jumped right up. Big upper wick yesterday. That's my level of resistance. I'm not going to load up on that quite yet. Either I'm going to get above this and buy on momentum, or I want to get a little bit cheaper on the price to the downside. I like the value ticking back up. Here's Orla. Son of a gun. It went up, hit my, broke out like I was waiting for, and then came right back in the zone. We'll see what happens with Orla. That was my pick here. Oh yeah, gold dropped today. That's fine. We can buy some gold and silver on the dip. I'm not too concerned. ASM gap down. We got an open body today. Look at the value jumping up. I like that one as well. What do y'all think? I think we should take another nibble on those. Probably, might wait. TSM's not moving much. I mean, for having the largest military drill hammer out off the coast of Taiwan, not moving much, right? Again, a lot of noise right now. This noise can create buying opportunities. When it becomes a problem, I don't have to tell you, we'll all know when this becomes a problem. Trust me, we'll all know. But it still looks good. Not necessarily going to load up on that one yet. Meta, rejection of the 200-day here. That's fine. The value needs to start ticking up. I'm not going to load up on that one either. Silver, just way overstretched. Nah, I'm going to wait on that one right now. Netflix, descending channel still. UAMY, got the rejection. That's one of my mostly filled positions. I think I'm in low fours. So yeah, if I can fill that position, less than $5, I'll be happy with that. I will be happy with that. So here's gold. Again, look at gold. See how overextended it gets? See how overextended it gets? Look at this drop today. That's the spot, right? I'm talking about this little green trend line on gold for a while. And if we're looking for gold here, that'd be my suspected support zone if we break that 20-day EMA. We'll see. I'm not going to load up on that quite yet. Iron. Oh, yeah. Come back to me. Rejection at the 20. You break below that 40 iron. Look at that 20 or the 200 moving right in my zone. Value could take up a little bit more. I liked my initial price here because I had a feeling, the retail, the traders will come in, push it up, but I'm not seeing the confirmation at all. And in this support zone, we never even got halfway through that support zone. We hit that 20-day EMA, has been getting rejection ever since. Let's see here, zoom in. Now you can see it even better. So no, I'm not gonna load up on that one. I'll wait. I'll wait. Micron. What do y'all think? Should we add a little more Micron? We'll wait on Micron. We'll wait. All right, let's get back to your picks here. Midday market update. All right, how many likes we got? We got 55 likes. 6 stocks. First 6 stocks coming across that comment section are the 6 stocks we are going to break down today. So let's see who's got the quick draw McGraw today. Who's the fastest one on the keyboard? Who's got the fastest internet, I should say? Who's going to see me first? Who's got the fastest internet? We got FES, FBIO, LQDA, Hecla. Okay, Hecla. Hut 8, Hut. NutX. I do like that NutX. I'm telling you what. I think I said 6. But there's a 7. I'll just say that's an honorable mention. Oh, wait. No. Oh, no. I added it. What did I add it to? Did I add that to Glenn's list? Oh, man. All right. I'll have to fix that. I meant to pick this. There we go. I'll fix that. I added it to his watch list. LQDA, HL, Hut. How many is that? 6. So you get CRS. That's 7. All righty. Let's see here. Most undervalued? NutX. And that's a top VST stock. This is a powerhouse here. We valued 286, went on 185, forecasted data. 240? Other than the one that's maxed out at 999, this right here is killing it on both sides. It's the highest one. 240 on the others, on the sales side, 51 on the earnings growth rate side. Liquida maxed out, but 35% on the earnings side. Don't sleep on that one either. A lot of buy rated stocks here. These are the value opportunities. Speculative is going to be the Hut 8, which they're also Bitcoin pivoting to AI. And honestly, with Bitcoin under pressure, we'll probably see a lot more miners do that. See your graph all. Look at that. Never retested this level here. This is prior swing high, and you got the 20-day EMA right there. I kind of like that as a level support. Value price looks good. Not going to complain about it. But you have to realize gold and silver, the momentum traders have came in. If you look at any of those charts, especially silver, it's really becoming more meme-like. And I have a feeling it's because the crypto world's not doing much. So they're trying to figure, crypto guys, they just trying to make money. They don't care how they do it, right? So if they got to do it in silver, they might just do it in silver. But get plenty of exposure via blocks. Interesting. Nut X just looks good. And we might just get another breakout here. Nice retest on the 20. Forecasted data. Phenomenal, right? I got no problem calling out some bad forecasted data, as you heard me earlier with Petroleum. But that looks good. And it's moving in the right direction. Numbers are phenomenal. Yeah, don't overthink that one. CRS, broke its downward trend. It's just overvalued. Steel, let's go 1 year. I like it. Price action rising, value rising here. Just be careful because we never really retested this swing high. We got close. You can see with these touches here, this one and this one, we never really touched it. Otherwise, play the momentum to the upside. The buy rating is in place. Growth rate's dropping. Sales growth rate struggling again. So just be careful with this one. VIX is dropping. Low. Whoa, look at this. Liquidity. Is that what you're talking about, the value? Yeah. That's good. It ain't slowing down either. That value went from less than $5. I don't know what drug they're coming out with. But apparently there's some big things in the work. You can see the data here. Sales growth rate -6, earnings growth rate 5. Those numbers are improving as I move this line forward. You got growth rate now at 20%, sales growth rate 142. And look at that, the value. And what's nice is maybe it's not really news driven because, for drug companies, normally you get like a gap up or, this one's not really moving too crazy. But that value, yeah, I'd do a little bit more research on this one because the VectorVest software is saying some interesting things are happening in the background with that company. Here's FBIO, Fortress Biotech. Again, another drug company, but different scenario, right? And what I'm looking for here is probably a cup and a handle. We got a gap fill on one side of this little cup here. Let's see. Yeah, we definitely want to stay above this gap. It's around 355. Right now it's at 361. Because you see this day, we got upper wick right as we went in the gap fill. Yeah, just be careful with this one, but it could be a little cup and handle. Potentially, but it's overvalued, right? Overvalued. I do like the other one, that Liquida. That value jumping up, that's crazy. HUT, value starting to rise. Hopefully you're making the right decisions here. Growth rate's turning around. Sales growth rate turning around. But stock is just way overvalued for my liking. Way overvalued. Put a level here. Put it right here. You see that swing high. Bottom of zone. You see the 20-day EMA moving right into the zone. See what they're going on. I know HUT's pivoting towards AI data centers. And, like Iron did. Obviously, I did more research on Iron and just, the valuation. Things looked nicer for me, my opinion for that one. But as far as this one's not bad, but it's just way overvalued. Way overvalued, right? I had no problem calling Iron out for being overvalued. Was it, $70-$80 and it dropped like a rock? I got no problem calling this out one. Because and in that video, I even said managing these premiums, AI premiums, using our value, and that has brought some and pointed a lot of those opportunities to Iron. You can go either way you want, but I like the VectorVest software, and I like value. This is a whole lot of hype and speculation right now, but as long as it stays above this, about 45 to 47, that's gonna be my short-term level support. I'll be optimistic in the short term on the future. Here's Wes. Look at value dropped like a rock. Go to 5 years here. Okay. Price action value moving in tangent. Value swing low, comes up, swings high. Price action hasn't been doing much here. You can see. With this volatility and value here, I really want to see there's more life in this value. Because price action on the top of this channel is $42 away. We're almost at 40. So only $2 away. Get some confirmation. Otherwise, wait for that value to come back, right? But right now, the stock went from less than $20. Yeah, it's just consolidating. We're seeing consolidation. 200-day, the technicals are catching up here. Growth rate's kind of all over the place. Sales growth rate. Let's go back to that 1 year. You can see, look, for this past 1 year, we've been in this range this entire time, right? So yeah, I'm not going to make any decisions right now. I'd wait for that value to tick up. The value shoots up and breaks the channel, I might jump in a little earlier. Otherwise, I want confirmation to the upside. 'Cause right now we're about $2 away. I'd give that up. Because otherwise, you could be, if you don't give that $2 up, you could buy it and you'd be sitting in this channel for another year. Who knows? All right. Woo. That was good. That was a good stream today. Now, I'm not here to scare anybody, and trust me, we're not there yet. But just know there's definitely some geopolitical tensions in the world right now that could cause some volatility when it comes to the stock market. And just looking back here, we still got 2 red lights in the color guard. Again, may not be the Santa rally we wanted, but it's the one we got, right? So stay disciplined and trade the chart, not your heart. It's the biggest thing I can say. Bye, guys.